So, hi everyone, good morning. Please confirm if I'm audible properly. All right, thank you guys. So, as per our SRE Bootcamp plan, uh, our plan was to have this today's session mostly on the incident part, incident postmortem and incident detection and the postmortem implementation, and how to define uh, the severities for our incident that we detect. But yeah, I could see like a couple of things were pending from the previous sessions. So like some of them of members requested to have a session, one more session on just quick session on some of the production related queries that are like actually used in the while troubleshooting the issues. So we will check some of the examples again today. We'll check some examples related to the AWK, right? Grep commands. In last session, we have discussed mostly about the application related issues, like how to check the displaced memory and network related issues on the application. So when it comes to the logging part, we have to mostly troubleshoot the issues on the application loggers. So that is where like a grep, AWK commands are useful. So we'll start with our session with labs again. So we'll connect to our environment. So again, we'll start with the same process. Please start the Docker container and please start the container instance. I will be sharing the commands. Okay. So we will start our sessions like with running all the AWK and uh, grep commands. I think we have already covered as a part of previous session. So we'll again, but still we will check if they are like if we are getting the proper result that we are looking for. And yeah, so we'll deep dive into the AWK, how the AWK session works, command works, and how exactly the information is getting fed, based how the AWK consider the white space as a number and how it is useful while calculating the overall memory experience and the impact calculation. Right? All right. So please start the Docker container and start building the build your containers and make sure the instances are up. Okay. I will be sharing the command in our chat box. Once your containers are up, just check if all the required containers are running or not with the Docker ps command. Okay. And we'll try accessing the endpoint. So the lab reference that I have shared last week, we will again use the same. Okay, nothing new, but we'll just check if all the required URLs are accessible or not. Okay. So these are our dashboard links. Okay, so just check if they are accessible. Guys, please confirm in the chat box if once your instances are up or give me a thumbs up at least so that every one of us will be on the same page.
Hi, Santosh. Anirudh here. I have a one question.
Yeah, Nirkan.
Santosh, actually, I saw the recordings of the previous one, so now I am very pretty much clear about it. So I
Mm-hmm.
have one question in the mind.
Mm-hmm.
We are
Mm-hmm.
using a Prometheus, we are using a Grafana, Loki, all those stuff, right?
Yeah,
So all the metrics, all the data, all the logs that will be stored in somewhere places where we are running into it, right? We are doing very
correct.
more, maybe some. So
Yeah.
what if that got exhausted? So how we can manage that situation, right? So
Mm-hmm.
suppose in production, the your this space got exhausted completely, but you are
Right.
not allowed to delete that particular log or a metric data for any particular time period, like for 1 year, for a 3 year, like this. So
Correct.
I just need to understand how we can manage that situation.
So in such cases, usually see from the container point of view, when like we are storing that uh, the data in a TS time series database manner, right, for the Prometheus and for the Loki.
Correct.
Usually we have some like similar to our application logging dashboards, right? So we have to have a proper alerting in place for the overall database management as well. How much your logs are getting stored
Hmm.
every day, right? And how your applications are getting ingested, what are the logs are getting ingested day-to-day basis.
Okay.
So again, that is part of like logging on your elk or the database point of view. So for
Hmm.
that also we should have the proper dashboard mechanism in place to check how much every day like the logs are getting ingested and what is the cleanup being performed. Like let's say usually for such kind of applications, right? So to implement the best practices in such cases,
Hmm.
things like to have a proper the analysis of your application, how much is the storage you have in place and how much is being used in every day also. Apart from that, what we can do is, like most of the time, like the standard practice that the most of the organizations implement is to have only the critical logs and
Mm.
let them store only for 15 days. That's the standard storage time for the storing the application log. Okay, so within
Okay.
15 days, like once you're logging, like post 15 days, the database is not restoring any more logs. So this is something that the standard we need to set up. Thing is, like if we not able to properly monitor the health of the downstream database where the logs are getting ingested, then definitely one fine day you will notice that okay, suddenly your database has increased, occupied all of your disk space, and there is no logs to write on your application. So definitely that is one of the critical thing, and we should have the proper alerting mechanism in place for that. But again, if you, as you said, if the logs getting ingested, we have seen such kind of experience in on the production where usually the data get lost, and we would be able to recover that, and it is clearly visible on the applications dashboard, Grafana dashboard, that there is a kind of false alert you will be seeing as the data got missed. That's why we have to maintain the logs in a proper way so that
Yes.
the overall visibility on the application on the UI side is also relatively correct. That why if the database instance is up.
Understood. So you mean to say from the start itself, we have to taken
Yep,
care of that.
correct.
Okay, we
So
need to add some standards or maybe life cycle policies, right?
exactly. See, when like we are building when you get any kind of such new requirement to have to, let's say you are implementing or you are migrating your new service to any observability tool.
Mm.
It could be Kibana, it could be Prometheus or Grafana, right? So you first
Mm.
need to estimate what is the expected space that would be required for the particular application. Those things you need to analyze it, and for that thing, like since it's a kind of a pre-production environment you will be testing on, so you will have to check how much is the overall space that my application is using on a daily basis, how much more traffic I'm expecting. Let's say there are some kind of events that we can expect, right, wherein
Yeah.
the overall application database, the storage could get increased to mostly like 2x or 3x. So all such use cases you need to consider, and we need to maintain that the overall storage remain like less than 15, 10 or 15% in all the time, so that we not encountering any such kind of issue.
Understood.
Now the
Understood.
thing why it is still a more cost optimized way, the reason being, see what we are doing is on Prometheus and Loki side, like mostly the logs are being stored at the single place. We are not paying the cost for storing the application log on individual servers. Okay,
Correct.
earlier the individual server used to have like 100 GB space, and whatever the pods or containers are running, they are occupying that much space. Even though your application is not using that much disk space, but still it is unnecessarily occupying your disk. Now, since we have centralized all the application logs at the Prometheus database level or the Loki,
Mm.
we no need to rely on the application database anymore. That's the main purpose of having targets, right? That we discussed. Like when your application exports the logs, it is getting centralized at the Prometheus level or the Loki level.
Okay. Okay. Understood your point.
Okay. So that's the main purpose to have, the most of the organizations prefer this Prometheus or Grafana, Loki, since the logs are maintained at the some certain level, and they have some backup policies as well, like mostly some retention policies and backup policy.
Yeah.
Again, this is also again maintained at the cloud level to have the high availability of this application logs.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Another question I have in my mind is that
Mhm,
right now we are following the containerization level, like we are
mhm,
doing some Docker Compose and all that all stuff is there. Okay. Suppose that I have a Prometheus, Grafana, Loki, whatever it is, installed onto the Docker on another server, which is dedicated for that particular monitoring thing. Okay.
mhm.
I have my application into a standalone server, which is running onto the Linux. Let's
Correct.
suppose. Okay.
Mhm, mhm.
So so I need to install the agents onto the standalone server. Am I correct?
That's right. That's right.
So So this Docker agent is not able to work there because
Yeah,
no Docker onto the application server.
correct.
So the two agents I know about it, one which is prompt fuel, right?
From
No,
QA. The Prometheus agent, the node exporter.
the node exporter, that
Right.
is the Prometheus agent,
Yeah,
and another one for Loki, which is a Promptel. That
prompt
two need to install onto the standalone server
standalone.
separately.
Correct. So
And
once
those
you,
stand on on those application server, we need to configure that those particular logs or metrics should be pushed to our Prometheus, which is onto Docker. Correct?
correct. Yes. So then
Okay.
your application will be going to pull the application. Once you have the connectivity, like again, so whatever the configurations that we do based on the port opening and all, based
Hmm.
on that, the same configuration need to be enabled at the Prometheus level in the YAML file, Prometheus YAML file, right?
Yeah.
So what all port
Understood.
your application is going to export. Based on that, the Prometheus server will start. If you see the targets that we have checked, right? Once you
Hmm.
open for your standalone service, whatever the port you open, once it is accessible for the Prometheus, it will start targeting that particular node in every 15 seconds, because the script time that we have configured is 15 seconds, right? So every 15 seconds it will start getting the data from your Linux application.
Yes. Understood. Understood. So because
Hmm.
so that was very much confusing because we are using Docker, how to get the data from the server.
Correct.
So I understood that. Okay, and we need to install
Yeah.
agents onto that particular
Correct.
application server. Okay.
Correct.
One more question I have.
Yeah.
As we follows for the Prometheus, there is a database, right? Time series database is there.
Mm.
For the Grafana, there is no database, I think, right?
No. No.
So Grafana is completely based on a Prometheus, right?
Yep. That's right.
Which is has a problem. Now let's suppose these are the users. Okay, I have one question in mind. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
We are
Yeah.
logging using the users, right?
Hmm.
There is an option called a user management. We can add the users to it. Okay, there are many ways to add a user. Suppose I created a normal user like you and me using
Hmm.
some password.
Hmm.
So those particular users are stored into the time series database, or there is a storage for the Grafana separately.
So there is a, yeah, okay. See, thing is, Grafana, I means this from the UI point of view, there is a for IAM management, there is a specific
Hmm.
database for the Grafana level as well. Because based on the access that we are providing on the Grafana, based on that,
Hmm.
it will be implementing the rule based. Like for application, like let's say even if the admin is able to create the dashboard and others only has the
Hmm.
visualization kind of access. So
Hmm.
that is purely on the Grafana level. That is not with the Prometheus.
On the
Prometheus,
Grafana level. So
Prometheus
so
is just pure
basically,
data source.
so we need to mount the storage to the Grafana because when our container going to restart, when we restart the container, right?
Yeah.
So that data gone lost,
Correct,
correct? So
correct.
for that, so we need to mount some
Correct.
storage to
The
it, right?
storage for the application, yeah, Grafana instance as well.
So that storage will be kind of disk storage or maybe no need to separate database, correct?
No need of separate database. The Grafana
Okay.
container itself will store the required disk for its application to run.
At disk, right, right.
Yes.
So hard disk like EBS volumes like that.
Yeah, whatever. Wherever you configure the Grafana instance, it will
Hmm.
consider like whatever the prerequisites configuration, like memory, disk space, and all required for storing the application, and based on that, it will configure.
Understood.
Yeah,
Understood. Yeah.
and it is purely based on the like see your Grafana is mostly like used only for the UI purpose, like visualization purpose.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
the Prometheus instance is just like Prometheus, Loki, and other Kibana. They are just the data source, like from where you are providing the data to Grafana for the visualization.
Got it.
Yeah, hope I have answered your question.
Yes, Santosh, pretty much clear.
Thanks. All right. So please, team, everyone, please log into the Grafana instance. Okay. Select password is required. Okay, so last week I think we have created some dashboard. From last 2 weeks, we have been creating dashboard for using Prometheus as a data source and Loki as a data source, right? So that we have covered like almost four dashboard for each data source. So um, what I will be doing is I am just sharing one JSON file, okay? And using that JSON file, we can simply import all the dashboards that are required for our, as a SRE application. Like whenever we are considering like the main key factors to monitor our application health, right? That are like error, number of errors, and the error trends that we need to analyze. Apart from that, we need to check the latency of the application, right? So for that, like we have one JSON file over here, so I will be sharing that. So what we have to do, we just have to import it. I will be showing that those steps as well. So that will give us a proper visualization of our application. Okay, and hope please confirm everyone your containers are running. Check with the Docker ps command if all the instances are running properly or not. Okay, in the meanwhile, I'm sharing uh, the JSON files. I'm sorry for the background noise, guys. I'm still in the war room. There is a call going on, so you might hear some background noise. Yeah, hi Logan. I will be sharing the commands over again. Just start your Docker container first and go to the directory where you will have the SRE lab project, and we need to run this Docker compose build command. With that, your containers will be up. Okay.
Sure.
Team, I have shared the link. I have shared some JSON files. One is for the Prometheus, and we have two JSON files over here, Loki and the Prometheus JSON files. So please download these files in the same SRE lab directory.
In the parent directory, I copy pasted, right?
Yeah, you can keep it anywhere. Just like we need to import them, so even if it is in the download, that should be fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me know if it is like if everyone able to download it and done with this step, so that we will proceed with how to import it.
Mhm. Okay. I placed it. One question is that as a SRE engineer, Santosh, we are responsible for those files, for creating those files. Am I correct?
Yes, corrected. That's right. Yeah. So
Okay.
as a part of this, yes, last week's sessions, right, we were able to create it almost like 4 or 5 widgets only. but this is like standard JSON, like one of the for our application we have built, but based on the same you can refer while building the visualizations for your project.
Okay.
The
So
main
because it is not able to possible to create a JSON big in such big JSON files, right? Or on our own, like a coding. So we need to refer documentation for that as well, correct?
sorry, I missed that part once again.
I'm saying, so as these JSON files are big, so it is not able to possible to write it down and all the JSON related
No,
configurations into it, right?
not
So,
possible.
so is there any data source we follow that for maybe documentation or maybe some sort of things we could refer that and create some JSON files?
See, as and when we create any dashboard, okay,
Hmm.
of the visualizations, at the backend it creates a JSON file.
Okay.
So for whatever the configuration you set up at the backend, it will create on our JSON file, Grafana JSON file, it will be created. Okay, and
Okay.
that JSON file you can use the same template. Let's say if you have the application for payment and same template you have to use it for some other application. So you can just import the same JSON file to any other application.
Oh, got it.
Yeah. So just to avoid the rework, to reduce the rework, like whatever the instances widgets you have created, let's say 8 to 10 widgets you have created for an application, you no need to create it again by duplicating or all this thing. Just need to import it. It will import all the configurations you have set up.
Understood.
Yeah. So team, if you can see here, click on the dashboard from the left hand side. You can see this dashboard option we have, right? And just click on that and click on the new, and you see the import option over here. Correct. So just click on the import, and the JSON files that I have shared, please import them one by one. Okay. I'm just importing the Prometheus now. So I'm importing the Prometheus dashboard now, as you can see. So once your JSON is loaded successfully, you will see the option of import will get enabled. Okay, just click on that. All the widgets will get loaded. Please let me know if you are also able to see the same on your visualization.
Yes, visible for me.
All right. So next, just similarly, we have imported the Prometheus. We have to import the Loki instance as well. So okay, let's import the Loki dashboard. Import and select the Loki JSON. Import them. So you can simply duplicate these tabs just to have a proper visibility for both Prometheus as well as Grafana. And now you could see under the dashboard tag, you will be able to see two dashboards over here, Prometheus and Grafana. Okay, so just check if all the widgets are loaded properly for you. And as you can see, there is a dashboard for overall traffic monitoring to analyze the number of requests on our application, right? The error rates, latency of the application in percentile, P99. So as we have discussed about P90, P50, P99 for our application, right? So based on that, we have created the dashboards. This is traffic by endpoint, and like we have to analyze the traffic endpoint. So based on the endpoint, so we can configure like that. P99 latency. So if you see whatever the observations you could see here, mostly these are the metrics values. They doesn't indicate like from which downstream API or from what service the errors or the latency we are observing over here, right? That is where the Loki comes into the picture. Like when we have the Loki configuration in place, we will be able to see the error messages, right? Live errors, they are still loading, but yeah, as you can see here, the logs and live errors are also loaded. So from the observation point of view, um, your first thing to monitor is the Prometheus one. From Prometheus, you are observing the application anomalies, application issues, correct? And if you notice any issues with the application, the next thing to check is in the Loki instance, right? In Loki, you will be able to see the complete logs for your application, and you'll be able to see the errors as from the based on the endpoints, the number of lines, error lines, slow request, correct?
Santosh, I have one question here. So in Loki logs, I am not able to see anything. Have you configured the data source for Loki as Prometheus?
No, it's Loki only. It's Loki only.
Because I see no data in Loki.
Okay. Can you check if your Loki container is up? The
Okay.
instance for the
Okay.
Loki is up. Is it same? Is it happening for everyone, guys? Logs are not loading.
Now loading for me.
Okay. Okay. So Niharika, just check the Loki instance.
Yeah, the Loki container, it's not there. So I have referred the old SRE lab.
I
So
see.
that,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. 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 So do you have the latest SRE lab, or you
No,
want
I
me to
don't
share?
have. Can you please share it again?
Yeah. 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 Let me share. In the meanwhile, I request everyone to please check if all the widgets are loaded properly or not. Okay, I'm just sharing the SRE zip file again.
So Santosh, I have one question here. In interviews, are we expected to write these JSON files
No,
also?
no, 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 not needed. In interviews, mostly they are looking for what all kind of widgets that you will create or the dashboard visualizations you will create. That's their main approach. See, this JSON will be created at the backend. Okay, whatever the changes you will do here, right? It will be, I mean, the backend side, it will be stored on the Grafana side. Okay. In the interviews, they do not ask this kind of questions like what are the how will you write the JSON for this one? No, that is not expected. The thing mostly in the interview we expect is how would you write the total number of requests for any particular transactions or endpoint. Okay, I need to check the total number of requests on a particular application. I need to check the errors on an endpoint. So these kind of questions are expected in the interview. Okay, and to check that, you can simply like whatever the widgets that we have created over here, right? And I have shared the same last week as well, right? And we have discussed about this in last previous session about this query writing. So you should be aware of these queries, like how to write these queries, and if you're still like if you still find these queries are quite confusing, you are not able to write them by yourself. You can simply explain. There is an option called builder option, and from the builder you can simply select what is the container you need to select, and based on that also you can create. Okay, and so in an interview, when you ask get any such kind of questions, you have two approaches to answer them. Either with writing a query just to check the PromQL query, you can use the same PromQL query in your Grafana, or you can use this builder option, and using that builder option, you can simply select the containers and all, and based on that, at the backend, JSON will take the Grafana will create the queries on your behalf. Okay, I hope you have answered your query. Okay, thanks. All right. This- So as and when like you start implementing the things by yourself, you will get to know what all kind of issues could be. So similarly, as Niharika pointed, like she is not able to get the Loki related logs, right? So based on that also you can get the question in the interview, like you are checking the logs on the Loki and you are not seeing any of the any logs for any application. So what could be the issue? Is it the issue at the application level, or is it the issue at the Loki? How will you find that out? What would be your troubleshooting steps? Okay, so that's why I request to you to everyone, like to have a proper uh, hands-on practice to how to create the widgets and how to bring up the instances containers, so that as and when you face into any kind of you get any kind of issues, you will be able to figure it out by yourself, and the same you'll be able to explain it in the interview. Okay, there are n number of use cases we encounter in our day-to-day activities, right, in the production troubleshooting things. So uh, the more you practice all these things, the more you will be expertise and able to answer it in the interview. So I have just shared the SRE zip file. So this zip file has the Loki changes as well. So please download this, and you can refer this. So for you, Niharika, so once you, I think right now you will have to bring down the containers, okay, because the containers are still in use, and if you try to again copy paste over there, it will not work. So you have to stop the containers, copy the latest SRE zip file, unzip it, and again build the containers from there. Okay, so guys, just to check if our application right now, whatever the logs you are observing, as of now, you are not seeing any issues with the application, right? The logs are pretty stable and steady, and let's say these logs are within our what we say our budget error budget things, right? And let's check if we are seeing any alerts. Okay, so there is one alert running. Okay, what is this alert about? So this is alert is firing because for the payment app we have set up the latency of 300 milliseconds, and that's why it is firing. So can we check that, guys? Why are we seeing this latency, and where can we check that? So we have this latency percentile over here, right? As you can see, the overall P99. So if you remember, for payment app, we have set up the P99 P99 latency, right? Since it is a critical application, the payment type is considered to be one of the critical one, and we are considering the P99 for payment type, payment transaction. So if you see the overall MS over here, latency time, it is more than 300 milliseconds, correct? That's why we are getting this alert. This alert is getting fired. So from our PDF I have shared right last week. So we have this one more option. So we need to check if the things get like if we notice any kind of errors or issues, how the things will reflect over here. Okay. So let's start with at least error rate, increasing the error rate on our application. Okay. So what we have to do, localhost chaos error on. Okay. So I will paste that command over in our chat box as well. What we have to do, localhost. Okay, what's the port here? 8080. Okay, just execute this command, guys, in your browser. Open a new tab and execute this command, this query, localhost chaos error on.
Yes, done.
Done. Okay, now let's monitor our application first with Prometheus, and then yeah, we can check the Loki as well. Parallelly, we can monitor both dashboards. But yeah, let's check. Reduce the time series to last 15 minutes, and let's check if we notice any abnormal behavior in our application. Is it reflecting, guys, for you? I could see the error rate is spiking up over here.
Yes, 500 value that is increasing.
Yeah, they are increasing, right?
Yes,
Now,
error
if
rate also increasing.
check the error rate widget as well, you will notice that this will also I mean, this is also getting increased now, and you'll see the significant changes. Now you will see P latency. P latency we have not yet increased, right? So you will be you will see the overall errors are getting increased, and now earlier it was 6%. If you see the error rate is spiking up now. Let's check the Loki instance, Loki dashboard. Yeah, you can see here, right? The errors for payments are increasing.
Hmm.
Yeah, and everyone is able to perform the same, like it is working same on your applications, guys. Okay, so like when we get any kind of issues related to your applications, this is how you would be able to correlate the things. From the Prometheus, you are able to see that the error rate is increasing, but you are not very sure for what endpoint the error rates are increasing, correct? So the next dashboard, error rate over time, that will give you at least there is a spike started from 1050 onwards, right? And then you switch to Loki instance, Loki dashboard, and in Loki you are able to see the errors based on the endpoints, right? And you could see the payment endpoints are increased. Now you will check the logs. Since the logs are also loading, in a Loki. So we could see the logs every 15 seconds, right? So we should be able to check the logs for payment tab, right? Let it run for some time. Now similarly, like let's run the chaos for slowness. Okay. Now we are able to see the errors for we have run the chaos for errors check. Now let's run the chaos testing for latency. Okay, same URL, just localhost. Instead of error on, we have to start with we have to run the slow on. Localhost 8080. Instead of errors on, just change it to slow on. Click check this, guys. Slow on. Once you start this, you will see the graphs will be for the latency graph. We need to monitor. Right now, you could see here the overall latency is 601 milliseconds, right? So, which is less than 1 second. Now let's keep eye on this latency monitor as well. Slowly, you will see this is also getting increased. Just monitor this as well.
Is it possible to change the color? So if everything goes good, like it will be
Yep.
green color, and
Yes,
then
yes. I will show you that as well. I will show you that as well. See, click on edit option and the visualization, correct? There are options so available over here. So let me. All right. Okay. So as you can see here, Krishna, we need to set up the colors. We can change the color as well for the application. Okay. So right now we have added this threshold and everyone, right? Everything. So if you change the threshold, if you see the threshold that we have set up is 0.5, right? 0.5 milliseconds. If it is more than 0.5 milliseconds, then it will be we have set up an orange color over here, correct?
okay,
So you can based on that you can set up the colors.
understood.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other doubts or queries, guys? Please feel free to ask. Since like we are mostly performing the hands-on on this creating the widget, so I expect like you might encounter some kind of issues or queries. So now if you see the error rates are also along with the error rates, we are seeing the spike for latency as well. As we started our lab, the overall error rate or the latency was around 500 milliseconds. Now it is slightly increasing, correct? These are the core, what we say in SRE principle, the golden pillars or the key indicators for the applications. So most of the time, if you have gone through the Google SRE book, the key indicators for any applications to to investigate the issues are like mostly the traffic on the application. We need to analyze the traffic on the application, correct? Apart from the traffic, we need to analyze the error rate. Out of 100 requests, how many requests are getting failed and what is the error rate? the latency of the application, correct? So the overall slowness of the application and how your application is performing. And in-flight. So we have discussed in-flight, right? Can anyone tell me what is in-flight meaning over here? It is mentioned as a 12. What is 12 over here?
Maybe it's a live request.
Yeah, that's the live request. So that is like nothing but the saturation of your application. That means at present, like your applications are running like these live requests, and live requests are like, you could see 23.7 are the request per seconds, but in flight are like nothing but, let's say you are doing the payment transaction, and if your payment is in progress, so that's the count you will get over here. So that's the saturation of your application. So sometimes if you know, like when your service is connecting to the database, we configure the database pools, right? We have the pool, and if the pool connects, if the number of pools are getting exhausted, your database, like your application won't be able to connect to the database, right? So that is nothing but the pool. Like the pool is nothing but the saturation of your application. So let's say for my database, if I'm supporting only 100 connections at a time, that means the 100 is the saturation point of my database. If within at the same time, if I get more than that, my application will not be able to respond. So that thing also we need to, saturation point also we need to consider. That's why we have configured this dashboard, this widget as well. So mostly these are the core indicators that usually show us whenever there is an issue with the application. And most of this, like, see, this is particularly configured for the payment application. Now in your organization, you have n number of applications. So what you can do, you can simply clone these things. Now it is for payment, you can change it for wallet. You can change it for home screen, the welcome screen. The things will be same, right? I mean, the widget logic behind this will be same. What you will change, you will just change the error snippet. Like for latency, what we are considering here is like this payment request duration, correct? That will be replaced with valid request duration when we configure for wallet. Okay.
Understood. I have one question. So here, suppose we already has an application. There's a no Prometheus and Grafana for that. Now I want to implement that one. So accordingly, okay, even though our applications are generating the logs on their own, I have a Java Spring Boot application, standalone application which is running on a Linux server. Okay, that's the one scenario. Logs are okay. I run the Prometheus Grafana. I implement the agents. Now it is able to transfer the logs. But before that implementation, on the ground level, am I need to involve a developer team to integrate such type of logs from the application?
Yes. See, that's the core thing that we are expecting over here. Like from the,
one second. I lost you, Santosh.
yeah. See, the error logs are like whatever the key indicators we are setting up. If the errors are proper, then only it will be able to visualize it in a proper way. Okay, if the errors are not, if you are storing all kind of logs in your application, then the application will result the same on the Prometheus, and your Prometheus database will be piled up with n number of logs which are not necessary. So that kind of what we say optimization is required, and you need to engage the developer team because like it's kind of the application that you are going to monitor, and what all things that the developer and the SRE team need to monitor, the both should be in line. It's nothing like it's not like the developer team is creating the logs as per their convenience, and they are just checking logs at the back end. It is not acceptable, right? Because if they start storing the debug logs and all kind of logs which are not necessary, it will unnecessarily going to have your consume your storage. So in such cases, like definitely we need to engage the developers team and to have a proper error mechanism in place.
Okay.
Now once we start with our session, right, this backend session. Okay, so I will show you like what are the, why it is important. Since you got a good point over here. From the backend side, what kind of error or the logging mechanism required, that we will look into it shortly. Like once we are done with this part, right? So we will deep dive into the AWK grep commands, right? So where like AWK, for AWK, the logging, one of the logging mechanism, like it is very crucial for AWK to have proper logging mechanism. So we will discuss that shortly.
Okay, okay. So the reason I'm asking you this question, because when we approaching to the developers, approaching to the dev team and maybe UAT team, so they will look like there is a monster like SRE DevOps team coming with us, and they will
Yeah.
ask us to do the changes.
Yes, absolutely. We have gone through the lot many cases. See, that's why what we have done, Anirudh, like to have a proper knowledge base for your application. Okay, so what you can do whenever any dev team come to you, come to DevOps team or SR team with a request like they want their application to be monitored. Okay. So just what you can do, just give them the proper KB or the proper standard format knowledge base, that what kind of errors that you are looking for. Ask them about their infrastructure, how much the infrastructure you need, what kind of dashboard you are looking for, what's your main SLI looks like. Okay, SLI in the sense like key indicators that you want to monitor. All these things they should come up before monitoring the application to the production environment. It's not like they configured any new service and straight away they handed over to production team. No, it has to be in a proper way, and the error mechanism, the storage, the number of requests, and whatever the infrastructure that they are looking for, everything has to be in line. That's why we before configuring all this thing on the production, it's always advised to have the same configuration on the pre-production. Monitor the logging mechanism over there. If require any new changes or modification, you can inform them well ahead of the production rollout, right? Because like those kind of things are getting addressed in the pre-production itself instead of hammering the production environment. That can be fixed in the pre-production itself.
Achha. Got it.
So what I suggest is to have a proper KB in place, like that you will get a more idea like once you start implementing the things. Okay, now let's say you get any new project wherein you have to configure the Grafana dashboard. So first and foremost, like you will start implementing the Loki and Prometheus instances bringing up, and you will monitor. Okay, what are things are properly configured and what things are not properly balanced. Based on that, you can create a document and just inform the same. That with that, every development team will have the same template for the logging mechanism, and it will be easy for all the applications to check. Because if you see if you see like let's say for the payment transaction itself, the payment usually happens like once the user is able to log in properly, correct? So let's say you create one dashboard step by step, like this is the payment one. Now you have to start let's say you have to build your dashboard based on the journey in the sense like the user logs in, then you check the balance, then you click on the payment transaction, then like that you need to capture the complete journey. So that your journey will begin with the login process. Now if the login request and response with your balance check, if they are not matching with your payment transaction, then there is definitely some kind of mismatch with your error with your logging configuration, isn't it? You like on login you are saying that there are 50 transactions per second, whereas on the payment you are saying only 20. So either there is an issue with your logging mechanism at the login service or at the payment service. So at the end, the overall count of your service from journey to journey should match. Let's say 50 transactions per second I got. At least out of 50, at least I should be saying 20 have seen the balance and 20 have performed the payment transactions. 10 users just logged in and logged out. Let's say that kind of use case. But at least the number should be aligned, or they should match. It's not like you're seeing 500 requests on login and on payment you're seeing only 20. That's the wrong error the logging configuration.
I actually got on my head. I didn't understand what you're saying, Santosh. Can you just repeat yourself in a short?
See, right now we have created this dashboard based on only for the payment transaction, correct? Now for payment transaction, the user has to log in. User has to log in, user has to perform the balance check. Then he will proceed with the payment.
Correct.
That is the complete journey of the user, correct? Now, when you create a dashboard based on the user journey, your dashboard will look like first it will start as a login, then it is balance, then the payment.
Okay.
Correct? Now, that's why if you have proper knowledge base or if your error or your logging is standardized, then all the traffic, whatever the traffic you are observing for the login, the balance and the payment, they should match. If the logging mechanism is not properly captured on all the applications, if it is not standardized, you will see the numbers will be like you will not be able to see the same number across all the platforms, because the traffic, like let's say the login team, they configured their logging mechanism based on their use case, but it is not standardized. Then you will see like there could be 500 requests per second, but on the payment you are seeing only 20 transactions per second.
Oh, okay. So that's why we need to standardize the logs.
That's why we need to standardize the logs across all the applications, and how that will be standardized, because if you have the standard documentation in place or the knowledge base in place, which is with the SRE and DevOps, they can streamline these things.
Got it.
You can recommend, okay guys, your logging mechanism is not proper, it is showing inaccurate things on our dashboard, please fix it, then only we will roll out. That process is that you can bring into the process like for the production configuration. So that is again a part of reliability process only. Okay, so as you get into the interview process, like it's not only creating the widgets, it's not only creating the visualizations, that the visualization should also align with your overall request response, the total request of the user journeys. Your application flow should match. It's not like you are we are blindly configuring all the widgets. Hope I'm making sense, guys. Please confirm if you are not getting the things. Please feel free to let me know. I will explain the thing again. But this is very critical based on the requirement, how to create the dashboard and why all the things or the user journeys and every dashboard is important. You should be able to explain that in the interview. That's why I'm trying to give the real time experience. I'm just comparing with the real time experience. So you may correlate these things with your application in your organization, and based on that, you need to create the dashboards. You just like right now we are just considering the payment application, but in future, like you may get a requirement from your organization that please create a dashboard from the journey point of view. I need to understand how the users are interacting on my application. So based on that also, you need to create the dashboard. That's why first 2 sessions we took, if you remember, it was a purely theoretical approach. Like we discussed about why traffic, error rate, error budgeting things. We discussed burn rate, the latency part, P99, P90, P50. We discussed how to define that. These are why these are important, because if your basics are clear, then only you will be able to build this kind of dashboards.
Got it.
Yeah. Now let's do one thing, guys. Right now, if you could see, there is definitely we are seeing the spike on our applications. Now the next thing that we will check is to check the alerts. Okay, if the alerts are getting fired or not properly. So just check with the 9090 alerts. You must be seeing all these alerts are fired now. Okay. Let me share this.
So Santosh, we are actually created the dashboard in our organization for Kubernetes pods monitoring.
Okay.
Okay. So in pods monitoring, count of the pod in every namespaces, then pod status, then which pod is how many times restart the pods.
Right.
Then CPU uses.
Correct.
And then memory leak.
Yeah.
And then latency part of the pod networking.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. That is the nothing but the Prometheus metrics.
Yeah. And in application monitoring, so anything output from the developer side, so which metrics we need to monitor on, like our organization for the calling product company, the call centers, the
Yeah.
voice here. So how many calls are dropped, and so these types, anything output from the development team, so need to the metrics need to the developer to check the which type of matrices.
From the developer point of view, you are asking?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so from the developer point of view, see, the thing is the same dashboard, whatever the dashboard you are designing, right? Whatever the dashboard you are creating, we are giving the access to same developer team as well as the SRE team.
Yes.
For both team, the dashboard remains same. It's not like SRE team has different dashboard and developer team has different dashboard. From the developer point of view, the thing that they need to monitor or specific dashboard, if you ask me, I will prefer they should have a proper dashboards for pre-production environment
Okay.
to check if their application is having or whatever the changes they are planning to deploy on the production, how they are performing on the pre-production. That thing they need to analyze, the developer team. Okay. One more thing that they need to analyze is uh, because like all these things, like with the key latency and all those factors that we have configured on the production, right? Same dashboard they should also have for the pre-production.
Yes. So first we have to created the things in QA, and after approval everything in QA sites, then we have to deploy in production.
Correct. So thing is, right now, if you see like there are a number of requirement you get into, like let's say there is a new application and you are not sure like how your application is, what all kind of dashboard you have to build. Let's say even in the interview sometimes they ask guys, can you create a how will you design a dashboard for any application? Let's take an example of okay, let's take an example of Netflix. Okay, a standard interview question, right? They ask the okay, we have to create a visualization for Netflix application. Now, how will you design it? The key indicators that we will consider over here are the SLI indicators, correct?
Yeah.
So how are we going to determine the SLI indicators over here? It is based on the user happiness, correct?
Yes.
So user happiness differs by the application. Like for payment application, user happiness is nothing but if my payment is getting successfully completed or not, if my payment is quick or not.
Yeah.
If you see you are using the phone pay or Google Pay, and if you compare that with any banking app, the phone pay or Google Pay app is quick. Within a milliseconds your application is get like transaction get completed. That's why we prefer using those applications, right? That is nothing but they have improvised the latency in a such a way that user happiness, like user prefer to use the phone pay or Google Pay application. Whereas if you see other banking application, their user usually when you scan it takes almost like a minute to complete the transaction. So that is the user happiness, and that is for the banking application. So when you consider for the Netflix application, what would be your user indication, user happiness over here? If I click on any movie or any series, my application should run quickly. My application should load, or the movie or the series should load within a seconds. It should not take ages or it should not buffer. Correct?
Yes.
That's user happiness. So based on that, you need to create the dashboards. First and foremost, even in the interview, when the interviewer asks like, how will you design a dashboard? First, understand the user happiness, guys. That is the first thing to start with. Do not start creating the widgets or start explaining what all things you will create. Just start with understanding the user happiness first. So that is the user happiness that I have to consider, and based on that, I will start creating the indicators. Based on that, I will start creating the widgets. So for my Netflix application, I will start creating the dashboards for the buffering time. I will start creating the dashboard for
Response time.
the response time of the application, how much time, in how much time the overall the series or the movie or whatever it is getting loaded.
Yeah.
Correct. So these are the from the user point of view, you have to build this. You have to create the dashboard. Okay. Hope I have answered your query, Rahul. Hope it is.
Yes. Yeah. Thank
Yeah, Vedant, you have any doubt?
One this question. Suppose this is a containerization application and we are getting data from the containers, means
Mm-hmm.
per request, and there are multiple dashboards. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So suppose there is in my current project there is not containerization running, application and processes are running,
Mm-hmm.
and monitoring is done using the AWS CloudWatch and CPU utilization, disk utilization.
Mm-hmm.
So suppose if I have to do this thing with the Prometheus or Grafana, so during writing the import query, JSON query, I need to keep the endpoint of that services like that.
Correct. So if you have to import the same on the Prometheus or Grafana, you just need to have, as Aniruddha had a similar query a few minutes ago, he has the Linux blocks, right? So similarly, for your application also, you should be having, you need to install the agents, the Prometheus agent and Loki agent,
Okay.
and install those agents and export their endpoints as a node exporter, and your Prometheus instance will start picking up the logs.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. Okay. Any other doubt, guys? All right. So moving on to next part now, since we have there is pretty much like a latency and error rate has increased now. Now we could see the errors. Sorry, the alerts are also fired. Correct. You could see here the alerts are also firing. Correct. So so this alert is like the error rate which has increased. It is more than 0.1%, and that's why we notice that there is a
Santosh,
spike.
just one thing, sorry to interrupt.
Mhm.
So I'm getting this error in the P99 latency, maximum of series reached for a single query. Any idea about it?
Okay, where are you getting this? On the PromQL
On
instance
the
or
Loki dashboard.
maximum of the series 500 reached in a single query.
Yeah, I
Okay.
can see the error lines slow request, but in the
Mhm.
P99, I am getting no data. And when I'm clicking on this warning signal, it says this error.
Uh, okay, P99. For which widget you are saying?
So,
This no logs you are saying?
yeah,
This one. Okay. Even I am also seeing the same. Okay, let me take a look into this.
sure.
This could be something wrong with the the query and query writing over here.
Okay,
We
okay. I
will.
thought I am only
No,
getting
no.
this.
It must be everyone must be getting that. That's why it is not loading any data. I will check that part. I will let you know.
Sure, sure.
Okay. So now you could see, guys, since that the latency has increased and we could see the pretty much error rate on our application. So we are able to check the logs, or since the Loki application is like from the Loki, we are able to fetch logs as well, right? And we should be able to check the logs, and based on that, at least we are able to know what exactly the issue is, right? Right, and so similarly, like you should be able to, whenever you are in a critical incident, right, or P1 or severity issue, uh, this kind of dashboard will help you to have a clear understanding about any critical incident within 5 minutes. It doesn't take time to understand what exactly went wrong, right? And you should be able to explain that in the in the triage or in the incident call, what exactly is wrong with your application. Now, if you see the errors are increased, you can say like, okay, I could see that the payment gateway timeouts are like more around 7K transactions. I'm seeing for the payment gateway. So similarly, you can explain. So let's say there is an issue with your database, and suddenly you are seeing that your database is exhausted. Definitely, you will see the spike for database. Okay, so based on that, you will be able to pinpoint where exactly the issue is, and based on that, they will be the respective like command center. They will be able to engage the respective team to look into, and that is how the core responsibility of the the SRE, and that is how we need to function in the interview. Sorry, in the incident management.
one doubt, like for example, if you're seeing the timeout errors, like then how to identify like which component is the issue? Like
Yes, yes, yes. Again, that part also I will cover. See, thing is, we have that limitation over here within the app. That comes under the traces part. Okay. So what I will do, I will be covering that part tomorrow session. We have some prod-like environment, okay, wherein we have some traces, like similar to these errors. When you click on that this particular error JSON file, right? If you see the fields loading over here, correct? So in this fields also you will get some traces option that will show the complete downstream problem of your application or the endpoint where exactly the problem lies. You will be able to see that in the traces. I am covering that part as well. In tomorrow session I will cover that. Okay, but yeah. So for SRE, like as I mentioned, first of all, first thing that we need to start with is the metrics. Then this is nothing but the metrics value. From the metrics you will be able to understand where the issue is. You will be able to know that okay, there is a issue with the application based on the type of the error. In the logs we will check the application log where exactly this is and what's wrong with your application, and from the traces you will be able to pinpoint or you will be able to see the downstream API calls where exactly from where exactly the 500 errors are coming. So that part also I will cover. But for that I need a production like environment, since our payment app has only kind of this kind of limitation that generates log, but it does not have the capability to include the traces part as well. Okay, so that part I will cover separately. Fine. Now in tomorrow's session as well, when we start working on the incident management, we will be checking right now you could see whatever the expression, right, you could see here, right, labels, these all are predefined and they are getting fired. We have not written this by ourselves, right? Already been there when we started our application. It started firing up, but it's not like a predefined error, right? We have to write them. So in tomorrow's session again we will deep dive into how to write these kind of alerts and how to these alerts are now firing up. Now let's say you have a patching activity or maintenance activity over the weekend, and if you start those activity and if you do not mute this alert, these alerts will send a false alarm to everyone, right? It will wake up everyone that there is a down application has some issues with the payment, or application has some errors. Since you are doing the known activity, which is the patching or maintenance activity, how to suppress this alert or how to silence these alerts, we will check that part in tomorrow's session. Okay, so for today just I wanted to show you like how if our alerting are working fine or not. Now the next thing that we will do, since our application is running already on the high error rate, let's check if we can stop that error messages and if our application is get back to the normal state. Okay, so whatever the localhost chaos error we have started, right, with the on, let's change it to the off now, and our error trend should get normalized. Similar to the chaos slowness, the latency, that should also get normalized shortly. Please run this command on the browser, and once you run, just switch back to the Prometheus and Loki dashboards, and let's check if we are seeing any improvements. On the production environment, you will be observing the same pattern, guys. Only thing is like whatever the on and off that we are doing, the developer team must be fixing it on the backend. So on their behalf, we are doing it as of now. But yeah, developer team or the DevOps team or whoever it is who has the access to perform these activities, they must be fixing it at the backend. But or the database team. So just we are trying to replicate the same out here by creating the dashboard and by creating the a dummy kind of traffic. Now let's analyze. We should be seeing some improvement. Okay.
Santosh, just a
Yeah.
one-liner I need to from your side.
Mhm.
In the current dashboard that you're showing, traffic and the in-flight. I just need some. If someone asks me what is the difference in between them, why there's the 23.8 request and why in-flight there is a 3. So can you just tell me the one-liner how I can tackle this?
Yeah. So you can say this traffic is nothing but overall traffic on our application. User might be checking, user might be logged in, user
Hmm.
might be checking the balance, user
Hmm.
might be checking the history, user might be checking all this type of the payment request over here.
Hmm.
This is nothing but the in progress transaction. In
Only
progress
transaction related data.
only if you see the payment in progress. If you
Hmm. Hmm.
mouse
Hmm.
over on this one, the payment or the things that is in progress, that will only it will be visible. The
Okay,
things that are in ongoing.
understood. No, why I'm asking you this question is because,
Yeah,
so maybe I don't have experience in the SRE because I'm working as a DevOps here.
yeah. Correct, correct.
And if someone asks me about what is your experience, so I can tell them, na, I worked on this particular
Hmm,
personal application
hmm,
projects
hmm,
and
hmm.
creating this dashboard by
Yeah.
understanding it.
Yes. Yeah. You
Hmm.
can, based on the requirements. Say, if you do not have the any experience into SRE, and if you do not know like what exactly they are asking for, just
Hmm.
just make sure that at least you are aware of what is the difference between the overall traffic and what is the difference overall traffic and the saturation. Saturation in the sense the number of transactions that are in progress. See, to check the balance, you no need to, like the user doesn't need to have initiate any kind of transaction process, right? You just need to tap on the check balance. That doesn't take time. But when he has to perform any payment transaction, he need to select the beneficiary, correct? He need to select he need to enter the amount, and then he need to start the payment process. So that's the difference actually. Hope Aniruddha I have answered your query.
Yes, answered that.
Any other queries, guys? So if you have noticed, like since the day that we have started our bootcamp session, we have not yet like mostly looked into the core of the application, or not much engaged into the part of deployment, or looking into the Kubernetes cluster, or something like the application level logs, or something like we are not troubleshooting the core things over here. Mostly we are focusing on the customer reliability, correct? The user reliability. That's the main thing that usually when you go for the interviews, specifically for the SRE role, the make sure that in your mind you need to consider the reliability part first. So when you get any kind of questions related to the application and how you will design it, let it be a system design interview round, or let it any kind of round, interview round. Do not answer it like a standard way, or do not try to give in the tech, the services or that are like usually being used across all the applications. Just make sure you are using the right application and you are explaining the right thing. Okay, that's what the key responsibility is. Like, see, every company will have their SRE principles defined differently. As I said right now, a few minutes back, for payments or for banking application, their SLI indicators are mostly the availability of the payment transaction and how quick my payment will get completed. Similarly, if you go for interviews for the companies like Uber, or like any Rapido, so those kind of interview rounds, you need to think from the user's point of view, correct? How quickly my bookings are happening from the user standpoint, correct? How my application, or if I'm getting the correct data or not related to the customer, uh, what all on the screen, what all screens are being used by the members. Is member is getting frustrated on any functionality? That all things that you need to consider when we have to consider about the Rapido or any application. Okay, so do not prepare considering only one standard application. Just take 2 3. Already I have given last week, right? We discussed about the Amazon application and we discussed about the YouTube application, correct? Similarly, let's have at least one example from each category where the indicators are different. Okay, and you should be able to answer that in the interview. At least, or if you get any kind of calls from any such kind of interviews, right? Any such kind of organizations, uh, prepare it by yourself. Like, what could be the key indicators that this organization is looking for? Based on their JD, just check what is the application, what is this application about, and what exactly they are monitoring as a part of this application availability.
Got it.
Yeah. Now you must be seeing some kind of improvement over here. The latency, overall latency is getting decreased now. Error rate has also decreased. Is it back to the normal? Not yet. Even the latency is still high. Okay. Okay. Yeah, error rate has decreased. Latency is also fine now. Let's see if the errors are still firing. Error alerts are still firing up. Yeah, the error rates have it now. They have stopped, right? You can see here. It is now 0. Okay, we have set up this target 0, target down. Can someone tell me what exactly is this alert about? It's been active. It's not active from last. We are not seeing this active, right? We have done all this kind of breaking things, but this alert did not trigger. Why? Can someone tell me what is this alert about? Why do we need this?
I think as per that, your Prometheus rules.yaml, it's related to your infrastructure.
The actual pod didn't went down.
Got down, yeah.
Correct.
Hmm.
Yeah. So this is like when your pod gets down and your pod is not able to, share or target any logs. If it's, let's say, if it is down due to the memory, out of memory kind of issue, and then your Prometheus is not able to pull up, then definitely this alert target will get, this will be get alerted. This is again one of the part. Whenever there is an issue with your infrastructure, your Prometheus is taking care of it, or the Grafana is taking care of it. Yeah. And okay, so in tomorrow's sessions, we will start looking into the alerting part, how to streamline the alerts. Okay. Okay, just to give the quick overview about the alerting part over here. As you can see, okay, as you can see over here, the alerts that configured in the Prometheus, the same alert configurations are configured in the Grafana as well, right? It will refer the same alert YAML file, so it will be same like whatever there in the Grafana in the Prometheus. So we will see in tomorrow's sessions like how to why we need to configure all these alerts and how to define them properly. Okay, how to engage the respective teams and how to silence the alerts and the severity one, how to define the severity. All these things we will discuss. Okay. Okay. Just everyone, please confirm if your services is back to the normal state now.
Yes, it is.
Perfect. Okay. All right, guys. So let's move on to the next part. From the last week, so yes, last week only I wanted to cover this pending things. Okay, to show you the exact demo how it will be reflected on your particular application when once the things start breaking. Okay, so let's move on to the next part about the Linux things. Okay, okay. So what we have to do, we will check some of the commands. We will check the we will use the grep awk commands today and their purpose in the production troubleshooting, in the incident troubleshooting part. Okay, so now I have shared my screen, and if you can see, I have opened the PowerShell or the Git Bash portal. Okay. Now, yes, we need to log into this prompt. Okay, I will give you the prompt as well. Docker execs prompt. We need to log into our payments app now. Please run this command. Let me know if you are once you are able to log in. Okay, just check with this uptime since when your application is up. We have used this command in the previous session, right? We have discussed about the load average. We discussed about the CPU top. I hope those concepts are clear, guys. If you have any doubts or anything in your mind, just feel free to discuss with me. Because these are critical commands usually asked in the interviews. Okay, so make sure that you are clear about those concepts. Okay, so I will quickly give you the overview. Like if you, I think we have discussed the grep command in previous session, right? So this is nothing but global regular expression to check the logs in an application, right? So we will quickly check. Okay, if you are also able to perform the same, and if you have already done it in a previous session, I can skip that. Please let me know if you want me to cover that part again, or we can directly switch to the AWK commands.
I think we can start with AWK.
We can start with AWK. Okay, fine. All right. So we have this labs directory, guys. Just switch to labs directory, and we have one script called generate logs.sh. Okay, so just execute that command. I will give the location as well. sh space generate logs. Okay, that will execute the shell script and it will generate some kind of log.
Santosh, 1 minute. We are in container, any?
Yes, we are in container. Correct.
Which container?
It's a payments app container.
Okay, got it.
I have shared this Docker X container. Na? Let me
Okay.
share the command again. We are in the SRE payments app container.
We need to run what? Log
Uh,
SSH.
so you are in you connected to the container. You log into
Yes.
the container. Okay, so now go to this labs directory.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in labs directory, just run this sh generate logs.sh.
Okay.
Is it done, guys? Hope everyone has. Once this, if it is completely successful, then you will see this prompt 5293 lines where we will be generated, okay, in where logs payments. Okay, so now either you can directly go to this location, and from there also we can directly perform the operations. So yeah, let's do that as well. Let's go to where logs payments, cd where log payments, ls-lrt. You will be seeing the payments.logs. Please check if this file has generated for everyone. App.log will be generated.
Yes, it is there.
Yeah, perfect. All right, guys. So let's get started with the AWK. So see, AWK is again one of the like powerful like command line tool that usually we use it along with the grep and the find SCD commands. Okay. So why do we use it? Like since like most of the most of the tools has their own features, and right. So how like for grep usually we use it to check the logs for our application, and that gives us a comprehensive logs analysis for like let's say null pointer or any kind of errors, that gives us the complete log traces from the backend. Now when it comes to the AWK has a feature of to process the logs based on the white spaces. Okay, in our application, if you see open it with the less command or with the vi command, as you can see our logging, if you see these logs, it starts with the date, right, with the system date and the error log state. What is the type of the error? Is it info or warning? Then your service name, type of the endpoint, is it a, what is this call about, like is it a get call, post call? Correct, it's a refund call. Okay, then you see this is a response time, so this is the status code. If you're successful, if your the transaction is successful, it is 200. Correct. What is this? ATMS. This is nothing but the latency of the application or the overall execution time for your request, right? This is the user details, and yeah, your request ID. So this is what the standard logging should be configured. So Anirudh, as we discussed a few minutes back regarding the error formatting, right, or the logging formatting. So
Yeah.
this is what ideally the standard error formatting should look like. One of the standard template, usually most of the organization that they use. Okay, so if they define in this way, mostly if you see when we try to perform any AWK related operations or any column based applications, like let's say I need to check, we will start once we execute the command. When we start checking the logs based on the column based application or based on the white space, at certain number or the certain what we say uh, length of the application, we should be able to get the exact value. Now let's say if it is like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, at seventh place I am getting 200 response, right? So what I'm expecting for all the application logs at seventh place, I'm expecting the 200 or 500 or 400. It should be the standardized one. If your logging mechanism is not proper, then you will get a different value over here. You might get something different or odd values. You may not able to get, sometimes if it is not properly configured, you will see 89 ms at the seventh place, right? So that's why the standard error mechanism is required. Okay, and the logging mechanism required for your application.
Acha,
Fine.
acha. So we need to modify that one, right? We have a rough application logs.
Yes.
Then by using our SRE knowledge, we are going to standardize this, and then we can use this into the loop.
Correct. Yeah, so we need to standardize this mostly if we have any kind of the logs which are not in proper format. Okay, then definitely that need to be standardized. Otherwise, your application may crash. The Prometheus application may crash. We have discussed about the time series database, right?
Right.
It is using the overall application. See, right now again, let me open it. When you say that my Prometheus is running on the time series database, what we are maintaining over here is we have given the label as a payments API over here, correct? So when we check the logs based on the payments API, we usually get the count. But let's say if your logging mechanism is not proper, and let's say the developer has created a user ID as the first logging part over here. Then you will get those many number of entries rather than getting a total count, because user ID will be unique for all the users, right? You will not get the proper value. Yeah. Now, if I have to say the total number of payments API, if I will be able to get it with the AWK because it is at 1, 2, 3, 4, fourth place, correct? So how can we check that? As I said, it is by using the AWK we can get the total number of payment transactions using the AWK command. Okay, that's how it works. It works on the column basis. To summarize this AWK, if you get what is AWK, you can mention that it is again one of the powerful tool like usually used while troubleshooting the issues in the Linux environment. As similar to grep, how the grep works and analyzing the complete log traces for the application. AWK is similar to that, but it filters it processes the logs based on the column basis, based on the white spaces. Okay, so that's how in short you can explain in the interview. Now let's start executing the first command of the AWK. Okay, the first command is to just check if I'm able to get the logs, if AWK is printing the logs for my application or not. So how we can do that? AWK in a single quote print, correct? Okay, sorry, in a curly braces print dollar. Now we have right now we checked about uh, the the white spaces, right? Where exactly the field number. Though now let's check with $1. What exactly we will get here? $1 for app.log. You will see the first field over here from the list.app. If you see, this is our first field, right? 260801. This is our first field.
Correct.
So when you do AWK with the $1, you will get the first field. Just check, just run the same. I hope everyone should get the same. Okay. Now, when we have to check for on the Prometheus, we are able to check the number of 500s within my application, correct? Now, if I have to check it in the Linux server, so how can I check? Let's say, guys, you are not sure about the this grep command. Sorry, not aware of the AWK command. And if I have to check the logs in application, okay, I have to check the 500 numbers, 500 errors. By default, we will use the grep command, right?
Correct.
The grep will give us the
Yes.
exact value for the application. Similarly, when we know that there is the field for this particular response, now let's check the field for the response code 200 and 500. Let's check this is the 500, right? If you see this closely, this is the seventh field. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. Okay. Now let's check what value we will get when you print the seventh field. We should be able to get the status code over here.
And somewhere we are getting MS.
MS, correct. That's why if the logging is not proper, we will get this kind of values as well. MS. That means for the application, the logging is not properly done. Somewhere like from the backend, it is that particular field is, I mean that value is missing. That's why we are getting the MS value over here. Correct? Yeah. Now let's check how to what exactly value we will get. If I have to check the number of, now this is the generic values we are getting, like 200, 400, 404. Sometimes we are getting 2688. Now if I have to check the number of 500, so as we have this command for seventh field, I need to check number of 500 in application.log. You will get the similar result what we get when we do grep command.
Grep command.
500, correct? So this is the alternative. Let's say in the interview, if you get like, okay, let's say the grep is not working, how will you find out number of 500 within the application? So then you should be able to answer this as well. You can use the AWK command, and if we are aware of the field field number of that particular status code. Then using that status code, we can able to calculate the field. Yeah, that is also possible. So with that, yeah, correct, Niharika, as you said, like the standard WC-L that gives us the count of the total number of errors, right? So if you can see here, this is like a
200.
total 200 errors we have on this particular container. Similarly, if you get any requirement like I have to check the traffic on this application, what can I change? What value I need to change if I need to check the traffic? I will have to check with the 200, right? That will give me the overall successful calls for my application. Correct. So if we get any need to check the overall application, the number of calls on this application, the successful calls on the application, we can check like this. All right. Okay, now let's run this command. AWK, this is for the 8th column. Let's check. Okay, it will take some time. So NR is nothing but the number of lines it will print. Okay, now let's say for my application, let's check that out. At least I should get the NR value. Okay. Okay. Okay, I will check this part, guys. So just remember that NR is like the number of lines within that logger file, and when we have to check the NR values, like from if we have to print some lines, let's say from 100 line to 200 line, in that case we use the NR. Okay, so somehow it is not some, I think some regular expression I'm making over here. Okay. All right. So
I think we need to pass before print probably. NR equals to 1 and NR equals to something like that.
might be okay. Okay. Yeah, it is correct. So NR is like we are getting the 200 line now, which is right. So okay, thanks, Anirudh. So as I mentioned, right. So this is nothing but the AWK look into log based on the white spaces of the application. So as you can see here, the standard production log file usually looks like this, right? So this is nothing but the $0 that we have defined here, right? NF and NR. So if you start with the $0, that means it will print us the complete line for that particular string. Okay. If you check with the $1, this will give us the first field that we have printed, right? Similarly, $2, $3. So with this kind of if we maintain the standard logging mechanism for our application, we can use the standard splits for our applications, okay, to get the exact values. Okay. Now as we said, like how we check the AWK and followed by the condition, and within that condition we need to give the what kind of action that we need to perform, and with the file name, right? So we check for total number of so if you see for AWK we have performed this print command, right? AWK we perform the NR command, so that is nothing but the action that we are performing over here. Okay. Again, like yeah, so we will discuss this part now. Okay, guard your fields. Okay, so what happens, like as we see, as we have seen, right? When we check for when we checked for this AWK 500 line, we were able to see the overall total number of the field from the seventh column. But is it all the, if you see the all the values are not accurate one, right? Sometimes we could see MS, some values we are seeing as a 2 here. So this is the not accurate value, right? So guard your field is like whenever you are defining or whenever you are writing the AWK query, we need to ensure that I am getting the exact value, like either it should be 200 or it should be 400 or it should be in the 500 series, correct? So that is nothing but guarding your field. Guarding your field means whatever the query you are writing, we need to make sure. Now here, if you could see here, what kind of guarding we have done here is like $7. $7 means seventh field. Just we are informing to AWK that seventh field within this guard, check for, this is the starting price, right? This up arrow. Start with checking 0 to 9, okay, for the 3 fields. So that what this ensures is like whatever the values are there, it should be for only for these 3 fields only. We are just targeting only for these 3 fields, and we need to make sure that has value from 0 to 9 only. Okay, so that's how we need to guard our field, so that whatever the values when we try to check in the application logs, we will be we have that query in the next slide only, so we will deep dive into that. So just wanted to explain like how that exactly works. Okay, now when you so this is again plus $8 plus 0. Okay, so that field is like, so let me quickly give a brief idea about this as well. So see, seventh field was related to the status code, correct? Now let's check the eighth field. Eighth field, if you notice here, most of these values are related to the MS, correct? Now when you calculate the MS, like let's say what is this MS is nothing but the latency of our application, correct? So if I have to get the overall latency of my application within a particular time range, the application won't be able to get it, right? Because it has the MS string over here, correct? So we need to remove this MS string. Then only we will be able to calculate these numbers, able to calculate the average based on this number, isn't it? So in the next slide, we have that AWK operation as well. With that, right, what we will be doing, we will be separating out the MS by using the global substitute. Okay, we will use the global substitute and we will replace that. And only once that MS is replaced, we will be having only 93 value. And then this 93 value, we are adding 0 to what we are doing. We are informing AWK that consider this value as a number. Otherwise, by default, it will be considering as a string. So we need to inform to AWK that, okay, consider this is as a number. Do not consider this as a string. So with that, once it consider it as a value, it as a number, it will be able to calculate the average latency of the application. Okay, getting my point, guys? It's a bit confusing, I know, a bit complex one.
So
Because
Santosh, I have one question here. So suppose in this one, so first request took 86 milliseconds. Okay, and maybe last second request took 121 milliseconds. Okay,
correct.
and all the values are in between. So we will be separating out the milliseconds value just to see how did the application perform between this particular time frame. Is my understanding correct?
Correct.
Okay.
That's right. Because by default, if you consider this, it will be considered as a string. Okay, your AWK won't be able to average it out because it has a MS value over here. Correct. So with using the global substitute, we will remove the MS. We will have only the number, and we specifically mention that consider this as a 8 plus 0. That means we are considering the eighth column as a plus 0. When you mention add a plus 0, that means it consider it as a number. Okay, and it will calculate the latency. Right. All right, guys. So mostly as few minutes back, we have checked the wc-l command, right, to check the overall number of what did we say, we check the overall total number of 500 requests. Similarly, we have this sort and unique sort hyphen rn commands. Usually, we have to practice them as well. Like in your day-to-day activities, as we say for SRE, everything is about the numbers, right? So we have to be very certain about how are we calculating the overall count and overall numbers of our applications. Okay, so we will see like what happens like when we run this and why this sequence is important. Okay, if we switch the sequence, if we app.log with the unique, and if we do the sort later, how the things will get changed, that also thing we will discuss. Okay, so now if you run this command quick, just I will give you this command in the chat box. Just run this query, guys, and see what kind of output do you get. You must be getting this kind of value, correct?
Yes, we are getting this.
Ideally, we are trying to get the values. Okay. So thing is, we have first done the sort command. Okay, and that has sorted. Okay, let's perform the step-by-step operations over here. Okay, let's check with the only sort command. What this will give us? It will give us the values of the this seventh row. Okay, sorry, seventh field, starting with this it start with the numbers, right? So if you can see, it has sorted the complete values with this on the basis of the numbers, then followed by the text. Okay, then these are the total number of the seventh field has these many number of entries will be again 200 only, but this will give us in a proper sorted format. Now, since it is a sorted format, but you could see there are duplicate values, right? So to reduce or to trim the duplicate values, what we can see, we can add the unique command over here, right? Now, when you do the unique -c, if you can check over here, uh, it's processing, it's trimming all the values, and it is considering them as a value. Now, if you see total 500s, like when we checked with the wc-l, right, we got the exact count, 200 count, correct? So this is nothing but the count we got. So always remember, the first field that we will get is a value, correct? First field that we will get is a count, and second field is a value. So 200 here is a total number of 500 requests. Okay, how many 404 errors we have? They are 96. 401 errors, we have 35. So this is how we need to calculate. Now you could see here, right? The total number of successful calls are 4,322. Okay.
One question, Santosh, means can you give me one example, means how can we use awk command in just like suppose scripting, because every time we have to use awk command, so we must know which field or which column we want, correct?
Yes, correct.
So in means suppose in scripting or automating, how can we use, is any example?
In the real-time use case of AWK you are asking?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. See, the first and foremost, like whenever you are automating anything based on the AWK, okay, most of the time we have seen that the grep command gives us the desired output that we are looking for, right?
Yes,
But
yes.
sometimes we have to check the values based on the, now let's take an example of the latency itself.
Mhm.
Now let's say we have to calculate the overall latency of the application within a given 5 minutes timestamp, or the
Okay.
number of right, or the number of request and response for a given using the field. That is
Mhm.
when the AWK is useful. Now, for example, if you have to calculate now, let's the same example like usually asked in the interviews, like mostly at the top level interviews, like at Uber and the companies like mostly they look for the Linux internal. They go through in-depth knowledge about the Linux, right? They usually ask like, can you give me the overall number of total number of 200, total number of 400 and 500. So that are the like typical questions the interview starts with. That is where with the grep command, you won't be able to get a complete value in a single query, right? You will have to write n number of queries with using the pipeline. And first you need to grep with the 200, then we have to check with the 500, then you need to sum up with the number. But if I have to run any query in every 5 minutes, again you will have to run the three grep command multiple times execution, right? That is
Yes.
where using the AWK, what you can do is within a single regular expression using the AWK, you will be able to figure it out how many number of request and response and how it is getting filtered.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
Yeah. Okay. So now let's check. Right, we have discussed about the sort and the unique count, right? Now, as we discussed about, like we need to sometimes we need to check the logs, the number of 200 and number of 400, right? Mostly from the UI side, it's pretty much simple. We have to simply from the builder we can add a status equal to 500 that gives us a count and last 5 minutes of interval or so, correct? But when it comes to the backend side, it's kind of AWK is like mainly used. Okay, now I will give you this AWK command. We have discussed about uh, the guard the thing that we discussed it to guard your field, correct? So that field that we will discuss it right now. Okay, I will give you the command. Just execute this and let me know what kind of result you will get. Okay, now if you see, we are getting the desired output that usually asked in the interviews, correct? Now let's decode this step by step. uh, what exactly this AWK command is doing over here. Okay, so let's start with first block. Okay, we will run one by one. Okay, now first see what we have done over here. First we are just printing the $7 in the sense the seventh field we are printing. Now if you see, even though your error or your logging mechanism, if it is not standardized one, not up to the mark, let's say it is 99% accurate, okay, but somehow still you do not want to wait for developer team to fix it and then you start implementing the things. But let's say you have a requirement to create it at somehow using the AWK. You can see here, right? We are seeing the complete result over here. Are we seeing any kind of other string like MS, or are we seeing any other string apart from the number? No,
No.
we are getting exactly the values that we are looking for, isn't it? Now, why it is printing only that kind of value? As we discussed, we are informing the AWK, this command from, right, that the seventh field, this is the starting of the guard. Okay, the starting the action that we are asking the AWK to perform. Okay, what action we are asking him to perform? Start with checking the first field from 0 to 9. Check the second field from 0 to 9. Check the third field from 0 to 9. And that's the end. I don't want any additional field after this. End of my action, print $7. You getting my point, guys? You want me to increase the font?
Got it.
Is it clear now?
Please repeat again.
Can you repeat again?
Yeah, sure. See, so what we are doing, this is the AWK, what kind of action that we are performing over here. So we are informing to the AWK prompt that my $7 field, okay, for my $7 field, take the action, or I mean, we are giving the instructions to the AWK that for the $7, please consider this action, this condition. What kind of condition we are placing over here? This is the starting block, this is the ending block, correct? Inside this, we need to, this is the, you can say this is the guard, okay? Inside this, we need to write the logic. What is the logic we are writing over here, or the regular expression? What regular expression we are writing? The upper sign, usually, if you know, in the Linux or Unix, usually upper sign is the starting. Like whatever you need to check the starting value, we usually use the upper sign over here. Start checking the first value, it should be number. Check the second value, it should be again number, and third value, it should be number, and that's the end. That's the end value. Okay, I want to consider only 3 values. If whatever the 7th field has only these 3 values, then only print. I don't want any other value. That's what we are informing to the AWK prompt. Is it clear, guys? Just give me at least a thumbs up, or acknowledge at least, like if we are still getting confused.
Yes.
Okay, now when we execute this command, the values that we are getting is all 200, 400, and 500. So let's do one click over here. So now you understood this, right? We are getting all the values. Can someone please tell me if I have to get only 500 values? So what change I need to do?
Pipe grep 500.
You can use pipe grep as well.
I just need a 500 value.
So
Yeah.
pipe grep 500.
$7 equals to 500, you can say, na?
Sorry?
$7 equals to 500.
Yes, that is again one of the approach, but within this same prompt, is it possible to do it? It is the same command. It's altogether a different command for a 500. But let's say for a dollar equal to 500, that will give us only 500, right, Anirudh? If I have to get 501, 502, 504 gateway timeouts, that will not be counted. I want all the type of 500.
We can use a
Pipe,
pipe
pipe
operator
grep,
and
5 ***, all 5 values.
Yes, that is again possible. But as I said, like we are informing the AWK to use only.
You can use 5, na? You can use
Here
5.
you can simply use 5. That will give us a value.
Correct.
All the 500 values.
Okay.
You getting my point? What I was trying to say, like we no need to add any additional queries. We missed. This is the first field 500. So we are asking the AWK consider this as a value from 0 to 9. That means it will consider 200, 400. But if you want to get only the desired value, we can just update our query like this. Okay.
Understood. You can
Santosh, I
mention
have
only
one
5, no?
doubt.
Yeah, 5 to sorry.
So if we are having from 5 to 9, then it will have 607, although I don't know if it exists or not.
Yeah, correct. That is also, I mean, possible. But see, right now, I'm just, you can try with only 500 also. Like that, you want to hard code, you can do like this only. You can only keep like.
Okay.
Yeah, like this also you can keep.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we at least like we are getting the exact value that we need to process, right? We are not getting any other garbage values like 2 or any MS latency related things. We are not getting those values anymore. Correct. Now next thing what we need to do is this has the duplicate values, right? At least it has duplicate values as well as it's kind of in a raw format that we have. We need to first what thing that we need to do? We have to first process this data. Like I need a data at least 200 first, then 400, then 500, right? Right. So what I will do, I will simply use the sort command over here. Now if you see, when I use the sort command, see we are getting the value. It is there actually. We have the 200, 400, everything it is getting printed now. Okay. Now we have the data in a sorted manner, but as you can see, the data is printed. We have the duplicate data, right? So what we will do to get a unique values, we will simply use the unique command, right? Correct. So we are getting this value unique, right? So when we see unique -c, now we are getting the desired values, guys. There are total 4,322 200 and 500 are this many 500. Correct. Are we getting the desired values or whatever the asked in the interview? So this is how we need to build the AWK command. Like similarly, so you do not need to remember all the things like sort, unique, and this is how the complete. If you look at the complete command, it looks like a very complex one. But when you start building line by block, it's quite easy. Okay, once you understand the logic behind what we are informing to AWK, the next thing will be quite easy to act on, because once we are able to filter the exact value, the next things are like just we are processing the given data. Okay, hope it is clear, guys. Please acknowledge. Hope it is clear.
Yes.
For you.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. All right.
We need to practice more onto it.
Yeah.
Daily.
We need to practice. We need to at least see the regular expression is nothing but we call it as a coding round. Data structure is nothing but like one of the complex thing, right? Data structure and outputs. So this regular expression is similar to that only. If you practice more, you will get to know in a better way, and you will be able to write the complex queries as well. That's why when you go into the interviews for the like fan level interviews, they do not ask simple questions. They start with these only. They actually expect if you are aware of how to write the regular expressions. Okay, so that's why I usually request you guys to at least prepare a regular expression. You no need to have a complete command in the regular expression, Unix regular expression, but this is again a recommended one. Okay. All right. So these are some of the commands that actually just now we have discussed about how to the number of count get the total number of requests and all, right, that we have discussed. Now similarly we will check one part over here. Okay, right. So which one? This one looks like we already tested for 500 error, right? Let's check some example where we have this is the HTTP related. Okay, global substitute one. Okay, so we discussed about the now we have discussed about the error, right? One of the key principle we have to consider in an SLI. Now let's check up this. Let's check this command, guys. This command is about latency. Okay. Just execute this command, guys.
So which is greater than 500 millisecond, correct?
Yes, correct.
That's
right.
So in global, they substitute MS with empty string.
Empty string, correct?
Yes.
We are substituting the global. This is a global substitute similar to ACD command. We are substituting the MS value with an empty string on eighth field. Correct. Eighth field is nothing but the latency value. Correct. And we are informing the AWK to consider that eighth field as a number. When you add +0, it considered as a number. If that number is greater than 500, then only print 6.
Print 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So why print 6? Print 6 is nothing but we will
endpoint.
Endpoint details. Correct. That is nothing but the endpoint. So now if you see, all endpoints are having a latency value more than 500. If you want to check the latency, guys, what change I need to do over here? Can anyone tell me? I want to check the latency as well as the endpoint.
So print 7, print 8 as well.
Yeah, I just have to simply add print 8. with the $8. That even comma also works. Now if you can see here, we are printing $8 and $6. $6 is nothing but the endpoint. Okay, guys, you want me to explain it one by one, block by block? I can, or it is quite a straightforward case over here. So this is a global substitute. Okay, it's a kind of a function within a AWK. So we know this stream editor, right? Stream editor is nothing but we usually have a source and the string, then the string that we need to replace with, and with what string that we need to replace. That is nothing but the substitution functionality, correct? So what exactly we are doing over here is for for 8th field, we are informing AWK to substitute the MS string with an empty string. Okay, so once that that is like executed, we will get a value. So what we will get a value in a string format. So let's take an example of 774. So we are getting that value in a string format. So what exactly we are doing after that? We are informing, we are checking the logic of 500 milliseconds. So as you know that in our Prometheus query or in our Grafana query, we are checking, we have our baseline for the latency is 500 milliseconds, correct? So for 500 milliseconds, what we are checking, if there are any transactions which are taking more than 500 milliseconds, then print along with the millisecond, the endpoint along with the millisecond. So that is what we are getting over here. Hope it is clear, guys. Now the remaining operations will be the same, like how we have done it for the previous one. Again, so we are sorting over here. Okay, let me. Right. So right now we are sorting this value, right? Now since we have this again, the duplicate values, so we will go with the unique. Right now we are able to see the values, but we could see the pay overall latency for pay is like that count is 110, but that is listed in the third row. It is not listed in the first row, right? So how to that's why we need another kind of sort. So what we are doing here, sort. Okay, now if you see, we are again getting the number at the end. Sort, we have done the sort, but by default it is it's done with the text. If you see, the balance has came first and history, correct? So it has done on the basis of the text. So again we need to format to the sort command, do it on the basis of number. Now it has done on the basis of number, okay, but still we are getting it at the last. Why? Because by default it will do it on the ascending manner. So we need to inform, again we need to process this query. Okay, I want the highest number of count at first. That means in a reverse way. If you can see now, 110 paid transactions are having the more count. Is it clear, guys?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I think okay. So I will be sharing this complete slides. Okay, you can execute this for a practice purpose. I will be sharing this part. Okay, and yeah, I think on tomorrow's sessions we will deep dive into ACD command and this part. Okay. How to do the pipeline. As many of you are already aware of the pipeline process, but still we will discuss it. We will discuss about some of the interview questions. Okay. Now,
Sure.
as you can see, I have listed these out some of the interview related questions. We will deep dive into it in tomorrow's session, and we will have some kind of tomorrow session. Like we will be discussing about the incident management process. Okay. So like regarding how to respond the incidents, it's going to be again a bit of theoretical approach first, because I wanted to make the thing like what is the definition of severity 1, severity 2, because if you see in our Prometheus alerting, we have configured the severity as well, right? So unnecessary, we do not need to inform or wake up the SRE engineers or the DevOps engineers. So based on what approach we need to set up the alerts. For that, I want everyone's concepts for severity 1 and definition, how to set up that. That should, once that consideration, if you are clear with that concept, then you will be able to proceed it properly further. Okay. Fine,
Yes.
guys. Or any queries on today's session, or if you have any other recommendations?
Nothing. So I just want this PPT so I can practice it more.
Yeah, I will be sharing it shortly after our call.
Yes.
We'll be sharing that in our WhatsApp group itself.
Sure.
And what else document if you need, guys, please feel free to ask in the call for Aman or Shubham. I can share that in the call. Anyway, today's document PPTs, I will be sharing it. Okay, along with the practice that session that we have done, and I will share the JSON file as well. I hope everyone has this JSON files, but still, I will attach those JSON file for your reference.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Santosh.
Thank you, guys. I think today's
connect
session was
tomorrow.
a productive one for you guys, and let's connect tomorrow.
Sure.
Thank you, Santosh.
Thank you.
Thank you, Santosh.
Thank you. Bye.